Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today is Subscriber Deck Day, so this is where we're going to be playing some decks submitted by you guys, and hopefully we're going to play it to success, otherwise I will make changes and hopefully improve the deck for whoever submits it. So, today our deck is submitted by Surveil the Dreamer, so thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you do want your deck featured on the channel in the future as well, guys, then be sure to either leave it down in the comment section below, you can also email me, and the link is down in the description, but the best way to do it is jump into the Discord and submit it either in the community deck lists section or the subscriber deck list section if you are a Twitch subscriber or a patron, so you'll get bumped closer to the front if you are one of those. So what we're playing today is a Font of Agonies list, so it's 1 mana for an enchantment that says whenever you pay life you put that many counters on Font of Agonies, and then you may pay 2 to remove 4 blood counters and destroy a creature. So all we have to do is pay 4 life and we get to kill a creature. So that does come at a bit of a cost, but what we can do if we build the deck correctly is we can basically ban creature decks from ever existing. We have many ways of triggering that pay life. The one notable thing is Shocklands. Godless Shrine pays 2 life when it enters, so we can actually shock this in on purpose in order to get 2 counters on Font of Agonies. But the main one that we're using right here is actually Adanto Vanguard, because Adanto Vanguard is a 2 mana 1/1 that actually attacks as a 3/1, and you pay 4 life to give it indestructible. Now we can swing through our opponent's creatures with the intention of paying that 4 life, which automatically triggers Font of Agonies, and we can actually pay the 2 there to destroy a creature. Now, if we're paying 4 life to remove a creature, we do need to gain some life, so Surveil here is using Revitalize, which is a 2 mana instant speed, gain 3 life and draw a card, so most of our life gain is coming back from Revitalize. And then we also have a removal choice, which is Oath of Kaya. Deals 3 damage to any target and you gain 3 life, and whenever an opponent attacks a Planeswalker you control, we get to drain them for 2 as well, so a little bit more life gain. We also have Argyl's Bloodfast, which we can pay 2 life to draw a card, so yet again we're benefiting out of that payment a little bit there. And we also have Doom Whisperer, which I'm sure most people are familiar with, a 5 mana 6/6 Flample, pay 2 life to Surveil 2, so we get to look at the top 2 cards and decide whether or not we want them in the graveyard or on top of our deck. So I'm not going to go through too much of the deck. I mean, it explains itself really. We've got some Basilica Bellhaunts to gain some life here, with lots of removal choices. A Shalai, which is an interesting choice. Not entirely sure what purpose this is serving at the moment, but we're going to play through the deck a little bit. But before I do have a slight concern with this deck, and that is actually the Bolas's Citadel. I don't actually think that this card is particularly good in this list, because for 6 mana, Legendary Artifact, you can play the top card of your library, and you can pay life instead of spending mana on it, essentially. So, while it does synergize with Font of Agonies, we just simply don't have enough ways to actually gain life off of the top card of our deck. When you're playing Bolas's Citadel, you really want cards that gain life when they enter. So, for example, with Oath of Kaya, this is a good example of a card we should be playing. It's a 3 mana, deal 3 damage and gain 3. So we pay 3 to put it into play, and then we deal 3 and gain 3. So we're actually, this is life neutral, essentially. We also have Revitalize for the same kind of thing. We pay 2 life off of the top, and then we gain 3 off of the card while also drawing a card, which is quite nice. But other than that, though, we don't really have too many ways, and I imagine our life total is going to be pretty low, so I'm not sure that Bolas's Citadel is really going to see any use whatsoever. So I am actually, before we go into the game, going to cut this and make a quick change. I think we could probably just add in an extra Sorin, do love Sorin here, and another Oath of Kaya as well. I'm thinking what this deck actually needs as well, but we're not going to change anything more than that. I'm thinking that the Adanto Vanguard needs a way of gaining lifelink other than the Sorin, of course, because, of course, we're going to be paying 4 quite a lot, so we're going to be low on life. So I would like a way to maybe just have that pay 4 only loses 1 life per turn, which Sorin kind of does, but if we have a enchantment that gives lifelink attached to Adanto Vanguard, then potentially we can see this being completely neutral. There is, I think it's called Squire's Devotion is the card that I'm kind of thinking of. You can stick this on an Adanto Vanguard, and it basically turns it into a 4-power indestructible creature that gains 4 life. So you end up paying no life, essentially, for indestructibility, which is very nice. So we might end up needing something like this in the deck, but I'm going to play it as it is right now for now. Other concern is probably the blast zones. I'm not sure that they're entirely necessary since our deck is built around killing creatures. We shouldn't really need to blow up a converted mana cost, but we're going to leave it in there for now, just see how it plays out. But honestly, I think this could probably hurt more than help, especially since we're running Basilica Bellhaunts on turn 4. Maybe we're a little low on board wipes as well. 2 Ritual of Suts is nice, but we might want some Cry of the Carnariums or something like that in case of opposing Adanto Vanguards. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into some games. We'll play it for a little bit, and then we'll make some changes. Okay, we're in, and we have turn 1 Font of Agonies, but no way to enable it. We do have a Revitalize, so we can gain a bit of life. I think I can take this hand. I imagine we're going to draw nicely anyway. A lot of our deck is quite cheap, so yeah, we'll take this one. I won't turn down the Namesake card plus decent enough mana. Opponent's already going down to 6. Decided to keep on top. Okay, so let's throw out Font of Agonies. If we draw shock lands next turn, we might want to shock ourselves on purpose to get 2 counters on the font, and then we can Revitalize to redraw and gain some of that life back, of course. Watery Grave for our opponent. So first instinct is something like Esper Control, I imagine. We're going to lead off with the planes here. There's no reason to show them the Blast Zone just yet, and obviously no reason to cast Revitalize. We might as well represent removal or something like that. But yeah, holding off Blast Zone could lead them into playing 1-drops and things like that. Thought Erasure. We'll let you have a look. If they want to take Revitalize, so be it. I kind of feel like they'll take something like Oath of Kaya or maybe the Doom Whisperer, perhaps. Something that they can't deal with is typically, yeah, okay. So Oath of Kaya would prevent them sort of from attacking our Saurins. But it's also a way of us attacking their Planeswalkers as well. Okay, so let's Revitalize and get an Unknown. We've got a Godless Shrine and a Bloodfast. Okay, so if I shocked myself, I would get a 2 counters on the Font of Agonies, and then the next time I paid 2 life to draw a card, I would have enough to kill with the creature. This doesn't look like it's going to be the kind of matchup where that is relevant, but we can certainly try for it. Yeah, I don't think my life total particularly matters in this matchup, so let's get those 2 counters on. If they're running things like Doom Whisper and Thief of Sanity, then I would like to be able to have Font of Agonies enabled as soon as possible. Oh, it's Grixis. Psychic Corrosion. Do we have an answer to that? That's a good question. I don't actually know. So it's a matter of beating the clock then. Alright, well, I guess the Blast Zones can answer that. That's a fair choice. I want to do 1. Okay, so let's just Bloodfast, draw a card, see what we draw. Revitalize. Grixis Mill. It's not what I expected. Let's Revitalize. Get a Shalai. Okay. So we can kill creatures. I don't think that's particularly relevant, though if they run a Bolus, it's basically just dead already now. And if we find our Saurin, then the Psychic Corrosions are going to fill up our graveyard. They've got the Thought Erasure, so I'm assuming they're going to take Shalai, because it does actually stop them from attacking my hand with Thought Erasures. Yep. This doesn't say target, though. Each opponent. So Shalai wouldn't stop Psychic Corrosion. It would stop Drown Secrets, though. Okay, I'm going to put 2 counters on Blast Zone and get rid of this Corrosion. Ugh, Land Saurin. Yeah, so if I put the 2 counters on Blast Zone, I can set it to 3, and our opponent can't even play Ashiok at that point. So, put 2 counters on Blast Zone, and now it's set up to destroy Psychic Corrosion whenever we want. Should we get Doom Whisperer down? It probably just dies. But that could leave Twilight Prophet to be quite useful. The alternative is we just blow up Psychic Corrosion. I think leaving it there, though, is basically a deterrent for them to add more stuff. So let's get Doom Whisperer down. And pass. Because, like, they can't add Ashiok, they can't add more Psychic Corrosions. If they do that, we just get more value on our Blast Zone. So they're going to have to rely on a single Psychic Corrosion to get them there. We're going to have to rely on this Doom Whisperer to do the same, though. So we'll see if we can manage it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. City's Blessing on the Twilight Prophet, if we can get that. Or I could go with the Ethereal Absolution. I'm going to swing first. They know about the Absolution. Do they just have nothing? It doesn't feel like they have nothing. But we can certainly try. We got the City's Blessing. And we can Bloodfast to draw a card. Sorin Doom Whisperer. Maybe they've got double white from here, yeah, into board wipe. That would make some sense. And then we'll Surveil with our Doom Whisperer. Cleansing Nova on creatures. Okay. So let's... Do we want to draw first? Or I think we want to Surveil and find out what's on top. Danto Vanguard. Seems decent. So we'll draw that. And then we'll Surveil again. So we can set up the next two cards. Font of Agonies, Isolated Chapel, don't need any of those. We'll go again? I think we'll go again. Font, land, yeah, don't want that. Our life total's irrelevant at this stage, so... We'll just keep going. I think that'll do. I don't want to mill myself too much. But I do want to pressure my opponent, so a Danto Vanguard, Indestructible Threat, and an Oath of Kaya. Blow you up. Cool. If they want to know over my enchantments, they have to lose their Corrosion, which is the only thing keeping them in this game. So, 25 cards. It's a reasonable place to be. The Eldest Reborn. Damn. Alright, okay. It's one way to answer Danto Vanguard. But now we can get Ethereal Absolution. Hopefully that matters. Land. So we can make creatures with this, potentially. This only actually works on opponents' graveyards. That could be awkward. A Narset, alright.
No one is more prepared than me. I have just the trick for this.
Well, now we can blow up 3 drops with our Blast Zone. They've got a Teferi as well. 21. So I think I played Twilight Prophet to get them to play Teferi. And pass. We can draw 1 card on their turn. Narset doesn't ban us completely from drawing cards. Alright, so now they get a creature or a planeswalker from our graveyard. Unfortunately, Ethereal Absolution doesn't protect our graveyard. We can't exile our own stuff, so... It's another reason I'm not too pleased about Absolution, to be honest. It's a big hitter off of, like, Twilight Prophet, but that's about it, really. Gonna go with Doom Whisperer. Well, it is dead, but they get the Surveil. It's dead because we've got 14 counters on our Font of Agonies. Play a 3-drop. Go on, get your Teferi out there. Shocks themselves. 6 mana total. Ah, Liliana. Dread Horde General. Okay. Well, kill that. If they do the -4 sacrifice, they get to draw a card off of Doom Whisperer, so we're going to kill it now, before that becomes a problem.
Let us march
march into battle and make new comrades.
I'm assuming they're going for the minus, because this Twilight Prophet, in theory, could kill them. It's all theoretical, of course. Yeah.
A little death never hurt anyone.
19 cards. I think we just lose though. We just don't have. We don't have any pressure. We're gonna need some off the top. Another Narset. A Bell Haunt. Yeah, Absolution's just really bad if your opponent's not playing creatures, so this is basically a dead card versus control, and I don't think that's a reason to main deck it. We are playing, of course, best of one, so it is what it is. 4, 5, 6. I could get Blast Zone up to 6. Doesn't serve me much good, though, because we're on 18 cards, and I do need to blow it up. Yeah. I think we just gotta pass. Mills us. Font and a land. So our best draw is like a D-Spark, I guess. Other than that, though, I guess I'm just going to put Blast Zone on 6
Putrid, but
to get rid of Liliana, because I think that's the biggest problem we've got. But if they play down like 3 mana Teferi here, then I'm absolutely just going to blow up the world.
Sorry I'm late.
So, going after my font to reset it. Okay, well. Let's blow up all the 3-drops.
Suppose that's how
Almighty
it's meant to
warrior.
happen.
And just kill the token. They get to draw. It is what it is.
Try this.
They've already got superior card advantage anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Probably going to lose to Mill. We're at 16 cards. All they have to do is drop us a Corrosion here.
I know 88 ways to defeat you. Keep an open mind.
Finds a Spell Pierce. Well, that is pretty useless. Okay, so we're going to go with the Font of Agonies and play a Danto Vanguard. What we can do is attack in and pay the 4 life and get rid of the blocker that Liliana will be able to create. And that will just kill Liliana. Or we could go after Face as well, but they get the -4 to sacrifice on our Vanguard after that. We have a little bit of protection because we can Bell Haunt. The eldest freeborn. Jesus Christ. Okay, never mind. Yeah, alrighty then. They've just got answers for everything. Alright, pay 2 life, see what we can draw. Just gonna have to draw and hope.
smelly, but effective.
Lands is not a good draw.
Put thoughtfulness before action.
Essence capture. Typical. And we draw more lands. Keep going. Oh yeah, Narset is a thing. Still no targets for Absolution, so 6 mana do nothing. Yeah, I'm just going to scoop this one up. We were never in control, not for a second, and I don't think we could have gained control. The deck is just straight up an auto-lose against our opponent's list, so yeah, live and learn. Let's go for the next game. Okay, we've got 3 lands, a Danto Vanguard on 2, Oath of Kyra on 3 to swing through. Also a Blood Vassal on the way. We don't have the Namesake card, but I think I can keep this. No turn 1 play makes Godless Rain tapped quite nice, I guess, but if we get Font of Agonies, then I'll probably go Swamp Font and then shock in Godless Shrine to get some counters on it. I don't think there's much reason to just intentionally shock yourself. Unless the font itself's going to make a difference. Esper Hero. Alright. Could be a decent matchup. Let's go with a Danto Vanguard. Our opponent's going to swing at us for 2. Probably Thought Erasures, and then we've got the Oath of Kyra on Hero of Precinct 1. They may also have Oath of Kyras. I'm not entirely sure if they do or not. I think they do, because they run Sorin these days, right? Another Hero. So, probably not going to be able to stop the trigger off of the second one, but we can certainly cut down on one. They're getting a little bit greedy here, as you can maybe tell. waiting on like Mortifies to get double triggers, that kind of thing. Because if they're going to use a multicolored spell to not kill an Adanto Vanguard but make me pay 4 life, then they'll want to get additional value out of that. And honestly, I could put a Blast Zone on 2 as well, which is not the worst. But for now, I'm just going to go with the Oath of Kaya and kill a hero. And also swing for 3. If they want to block, I'll pay the 4. Okay. A reasonable position to be in, I think. We can Oath of Kaya the next hero. All the heroes. And there's the Thought Erasure. Alright, so we lose our Oath of Kaya by the looks of things. I'm pretty sure that's where they lead. They might want to get rid of Twilight Prophet, perhaps, but I imagine one of these two is a removal spell, so Oath of Kaya seems like the obvious one. Best draw for us now is probably Ritual of Soot. And just clean up this board, and then we've just got the card advantage. Opponent decides to go with Bloodfast. Okay. So they're going to lose a hero. But they're happy enough with that. Dumps a Drowned Catacomb there as well. We can't really swing through anymore, because I don't think paying 4 life is really worth trading off a 1-1. So, yep, they're getting for 2. This is kind of a situation where I think Font of Agonies is pretty bad. But I don't think any of us are really assuming that Font of Agonies is very good either, so it is what it is, right? Okay, Oath of Kaya. Legend Rule. And pick off a hero. Pass the turn. Oath of Kaya of their own. I probably will pay the 4 here, because then I can just block a 1-1. Keep my Vanguard around. Yeah. Ooh, Font of Agonies is very nice on the top deck. Okay, so Font of Agonies. We can now pay the 4. To be honest, we could pay 8. But we're going to kill Hero of Precinct 1 here. And I think, now that we've paid the 4, we can definitely swing through, maybe trade off a 1-1. And then we'll just play another Adanto Vanguard. This is where paying the 4 on Font of Agonies actually looks more reasonable. Because it's just an additional kill spell at that point. We get to keep a 3-1 indestructible around. So they're going to need some actual exile, maybe minus kind of removal effects, Moment of Cravings, that kind of thing. I don't think this deck actually runs them though. They try to run as many multicolored spells as possible to trigger heroes. So they've got Oath of Kaya's, maybe Mortifies, that kind of thing. But yeah, at this stage I've basically banned any reasonable creature from resolving. All it does is cost me 4 life, which we'll have to find a way to make up along the way. Thought Erasure for my Twilight Prophet. Okay. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was going to be the City's Blessing, so it's a decent time to take it. Okay. And they're not going to swing in, which is fair. So I could pay 4 to kill a token. I'm not blown away by that plan. Though I guess if I double attacked, I could pay 8, kill both tokens, and then I've got 2 kill spells worth on the Font of Agonies. We have to worry a little bit about Mortify though, because they can just kill Font for all of the value lost. So maybe I want to just swing in with 1 Vanguard, make them block with 1, kill the other. Or they just take the 3, which is also fine by me. If we don't have to spend mana on the Font, we can pump up the Blast Zone up to, I guess 2 is probably the spot, but we've killed a lot of heroes, so maybe it's actually 3 for Thief of Sanity. Thief of Sanity and Teferi on 3, I'm not sure if that's actually a thing in this list, but I imagine it would be. It would be. Okay, so we just pay 4. It's not a great trade-off, of course, but we have removal on the Font of Agonies now. And I'll hold that for Thought Erasure. They've got 2 more in the deck, so they're probably in the top 6 cards, because everybody knows anyone who runs Thought Erasures, they're always on the top. Elite Guard Mage. Yeah, you see, that's the thing that we'd love to just kill. So, let's just murderize that right now. And yeah, skips a turn. Alright, so, put a counter on Blast Zone up to 2. It's a decent spot to have it in. And we'll swing for 6. I imagine they block here. But then the board's clear. We have removal for the next creature that comes down. Keeping the Godless Shrine in hand for like Bell Haunts and things like that, but I will play the Doom Whisperer, I reckon. Okay. Solid stuff. And yep, pass the turn. So if we want to use Font of Agonies, we're going to have to use it on our turn. So we've got 2 mana already taxed out. But we've got a decent board now. We're swinging for 12 next turn. They've got to have removal for Doom Whisperer. We've not really given them a good reason to use it because of the Vanguards. So best draw for us is probably something like Sorin. Sorin allows us to have lifelink and gain all of the life we've been paying right on back. I guess Bell Haunts are also pretty good for roughly the same reason. Hostage Taker. Okay, so they can take one of my creatures, but they can't cast it, so we're just going to kill Hostage Taker. I'm going to pay the 2 and Surveil. I want to see the top cards in my library, and yeah, there's a Bell Haunt right there. I think I want that. I think I want both, to be honest. They're decent top decks, both of them. Okay. So, my turn. We're going to pay 2, kill Hostage Taker. Get back my Doom Whisperer. And then I'll shock myself. Takes Font up to 4, so it's in kill spot again. And then we get Bell Haunt, gain a bit of life back, and make them discard. Keeping that threat going. Oath of Kaya into the bin. It still doesn't really do anything. And we've got a Doom Whisperer on the top for next turn. So, keeping that pressure up. Punch shocks in for a Kaya's Wrath. Damn. Alright, well, let's pay 4. Keep a Vanguard in. So at least we have some pressure. And it's going to be a swing with Vanguard. We can't protect the Vanguard now, but we have a Doom Whisperer to follow up. So 9 points threatening lethal, with 2 removal spells in the Font of Agonies. Another Kaya's Wrath. Jeez. Oh, do we actually Surveil now? I think we do, because it lets us keep up the pressure. We go to 1, but my opponent has no way of actually dealing damage outside of Oath of Kaya's, which we've seen 2. Only seen 2. I'm going to weigh up the odds that they don't have it and go to 1 life here. Ethereal Absolution and a land. Alright, let's get Absolution in play. Seems decent. But yeah, would really love some lifelink. We also have 10 counters on the Font of Agonies, which is 2 removal spells, essentially. Alright, so we pay 4 to exile a card from a graveyard, and if it was a creature, we make basically a 2/2. There's Hero. Alright. So I could kill Hero before they get a trigger, and then Ethereal Absolution we will get rid of. I'm going to assume that they might have a Sorin, so I want to get rid of the 2-drops first, because those are the ones where my opponent could minus and get it back. I suppose I should really wait, to be fair, until their turn if they were to minus to target a creature. To Fairy. Oh my god.
I'm known for my... Let's skip to the good part.
That's a problem. We can't really attack it because we will lose to the Oath of Kaya. So a D-Spark any time around now would be lovely. I guess I could bring Blast Zone up to a 5. So swing at my opponent. Down to 7. Pass the turn. We can answer to Fairy, but it's going to take all of our mana. And there's Sorin. No! Okay.
You should fear those born of darkness.
Oh, we're also just dead to the tick-up. Yeah, I forgot about that. Ah, oh, never mind.
Time for a drink.
Well, that's the problem with running Font of Agonies. You were really encouraged to go low on life, and we just didn't find any lifelink during that game. That's one where I think having lifelink attached to the Adanto Vanguard would have been nice. Maybe we want a 4th Sorin for that reason alone, but I don't know. I took a risk going down to 1, and it didn't pay off. It is what it is. Okay, so let's discuss the deck after those games. Mostly, it did what it was trying to do, but it did it quite badly. So we noticed that 1, Ethereal Absolution is pretty much garbage, I would say. You don't really want to run this in your main deck, and because we're running best of 1, we basically want to have every single card have some use or be a powerhouse in a particular matchup. Now, what purpose does Ethereal Absolution serve? Well, we can look into it, and it basically kills creatures, which we're already doing. It graveyard hates, which is not really something that we're bothered by, but it also just sucks big time against control because it just does nothing whatsoever. So we're basically a good third of our matchups, this card is completely dead. It's also 6 mana, and it will take our entire turn just to find out if it's good or not. So I think I'm going to have to cut Ethereal Absolution. I'm really disappointed in this card. I would run it in best of 3 in the sideboard at a push, but I think there are just better options than it. It's a fun card, of course, but I'm just not sold on it. Same could be said for Twilight Prophet as well. It's another card that I want to love. It's a 4-mana 2/4 that basically makes our opponents lose life and we gain life. It's nice in practice, but in reality, it's basically just going to die before it gets even a trigger off. And it can also hit lands, which basically means our opponent loses nothing and we gain nothing. So there's about a 40% chance every single upkeep that this is going to do literally nothing but be a 2/4 flyer. So again, I'm going to have to cut this. It also doesn't really synergize with Sorin very well because Sorin wants to -us to reanimate creatures. Now he could tick up and therefore he can get up to a 6 drop out of the graveyard. Fair enough. But what we really want is creatures 3 or less, so that we can keep Sorin in play and also reanimate, keeping that lifelink passive in play. So Adanto Vanguard is a really good option for that, but other than that, it's not too great. So I'm not entirely sure what Shalai's purpose is either, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't really understand this card, so I'm gonna have to trim that one down. And D-Spark is nice in practice, again, but we can't really hit little planeswalkers like Narset, who's gaining his card advantage, and we can't hit our opponents to fairies and things like that. So there are a lot of planeswalkers that are seeing a lot of play. Domri is another example of a planeswalker that's seeing a lot of play that D-Spark just doesn't hit. Again, this is pretty much a sideboard card. You could run it as a one-of in a list for sure. So I'm going to cut about 1, but what you really want is something like Vraska's Contempt. It does rotate soon, but I'm sure we'll get some answers in the meantime. Everything else in the deck I am pretty content with. Oath of Kaya's is just decent enough removal. 3 for 3 is decent enough. Synergizes with the Sorin as well, which we can keep ticking up and draining, so I do like that. The Blast Zones, I was a little bit skeptical of them, but they actually did manage to pull off some value, I would say. I could see the reason for running them, essentially. But yeah, we're gonna leave the deck mostly as it is. I do actually want to cut Ritual of Soot as well. I can also see why this was being run. Destroying creatures with mana cost 3 or less, the only creature it would kill in our deck pre-changes would be the Adanto Vanguard, so we'd have to pay 4 life for that. But honestly, I don't think that that's a significant enough upside for just straight up board wipe removal. So we're going to run Kaya's Wrath instead. I have actually added to the sideboard the things that I want to add to this list. So Kaya's Wrath over Ritual of Soot I do feel like is a pretty good upgrade. We kind of still have the same. We have to pay 4 life on the Adanta Vanguard to keep it alive, but other than that it'll wrath the board. But we do have Sorin to keep everything back in play. And one combo that I really do love if we're running Sorin is the Resplendent Angel combo. So Sorin gives lifelink to all of your creatures. Resplendent Angel says if you gain 5 life, you make a 4/4. So we can actually make a pretty decent board state with Resplendent Angels. It's something that Sorin can reanimate. Of course, it's not really synergizing with the pay life, but there aren't that many cards in Standard right now that do actually allow you to do that. There is one final payment, which allows you to pay 5 life, which we could use as a little bit of a tester. If we've got some slots free. I'm going to bring in those Vraska's Contempts as well to deal with proper Planeswalkers like Big Teferi and Liliana, which all presented a big problem for us. So we're going to bring that one in. And we probably want to try out a final payment. The one reason I want to run this is because in addition to being able to pay the 5 life, which can trigger Font, we can also sacrifice an enchantment, which means we can sacrifice our Oath of Kaya if we've got a spare one in hand, so Legend Ruling loses its downside a little bit. So final payment actually might be pretty good. I might actually run an additional one, to be honest. Where's final payment? Just to try it out, we'll see how it fares. And I might actually cut the D-Spark for that reason. And we've got lots of removal that is basically life gain, or in this case, payment of life based. So it's going to be pretty decent. Yeah, I'm going to cut the D-Spark here. It's nice, but it's just not gonna happen, I don't think. Other options are Seraph of the Scales as well. Synergizes quite nicely with Sorin. It's a nice angel that can have Death Touch to block your opponent, essentially, and make some 2/2s when it gets replaced, which we can then reanimate Sorin and bring it right on back. There's also Knight of Malice, which is another reasonable 2-drop creature here, which we might end up needing creature-wise. Hexproof from white, which means it can't be bounced by 3 mana Teferi and can swing right through a lot of their stuff. Hexproof from white also means it has protection from Oath of Kaya's and Mortifies and things like that, so it's basically protected from a lot of our opponent's removal, except for like Cast Down, which is seeing a little less play now, but still is in the format nonetheless. So those are the changes I would make to the deck. It might be a little bit 4-drop heavy, we'll have to see on that one, but I think the 4-drops that we've got are decent enough. Bellhaunt's pretty sweet, and, you know, we'll try it out. So, without further ado, let's get into some more games, see how it fares. Okay, Vanguard, Angel, Bellhaunt. Decent enough, all of our creatures. So we can get a decent aggro start with this one. Got only one of our new changes in the deck, but it's automatically castable as well, which is nice. And we need, what, is it 6 mana to get the Resplendent Angel going? So, Hollowed Fountain. So this could be the Esper matchup that we faced earlier. Maybe we can get a rematch and see how much better the deck fares. We might want something like Duress as well to fight counterspells. It's possible. But we've certainly got a lot less chaff in our deck that doesn't do anything versus this matchup, so it's nice to have that available to us. Let's swing in with the Adanta Vanguard. And we'll pay 4 if they try to remove it, because they're going to have a hard time doing it outside of Cry of the Carnarium, which we will play around by probably dropping down the Resplendent Angel after this turn. Resplendent Angel into Bellhaunt seems decent. Okay, opponent timed out. I believe they've DC'd, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's get down an Angel and pass it over to them. Hopefully they come back. Nope, they're here. Okay, so they just straight up didn't want to play for a turn. Gotcha. There's a Tyrant Scorn. Okay. Yep, sure. Can always bring that back later if we find our Sorin. Sorin of which could be a 4 of in this list, but I fear that we might have too few creatures for him to just immediately pull back to make that actually the case. So now we got ourselves a Bellhaunt. It doesn't die to the Tyrant Scorn, it doesn't die to Cry of the Carnarium. It does die to Cast Down, but I imagine they're running Tyrant Scorn over that list. Ashiok, okay. Well, we don't care about Ashiok too much. We did lose Vraska's content though, it would have been a nice top deck. Revitalize. Okay, so I could stop my opponent from milling me, but I don't think I really care, ultimately. I think I just want to keep pressuring my opponent. So, all attack my opponent. 6 damage coming through. And it's a question of whether or not I want to play a Danto Vanguard. I think what I want to do first is Revitalize, just in case we get an Oath of Kaya. That's not too bad. 765, we present lethal with an Oath of Kaya. I might hold this in hand, because I could take them down to lethal, but if they don't know that I'm presenting lethal, then I could have the advantage over them if they like tap out for 5 mana Teferi and just tick up, that kind of thing. Yeah, let's just hold it as a surprise. Opponent mills us. Land, Revitalize. Ooh, Vanguard and an Angel. We did lose some good stuff there. And our opponent has a Thief of Sanity. Which again, as I mentioned, they might actually not block here, thinking that they're going to live through the turn, and then we just slap down an Oath of Kaya. We play around Spell Pierce and Syncopate as well, so that's quite nice. Godless Shrine. So let's get swinging, see what they do. We're happy to pay the 4, because we're on 26, and they can't really threaten our life total. So, oops, let's get in. 6 damage coming at you. They've got a D-Spark. Okay. So, they take 3. And I think I want to just play down another Vanguard. Again, I don't want to play Oath of Kaya because I want to use it as a surprise. I could pay 8 life and, or 4 life, Kaya's Wrath. And then play down another Vanguard. That way they don't hit me with Thief. Thief could get some removal that I don't want them to hit. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. So, Kaya's Wrath. Get rid of Thief of Sanity. Shock ourselves. Play Vanguard. And threatening lethal again. However, if they do have a Cry of the Carnarium, this is going to really hurt. Alright, they mill. Land, Angel, Font, and Wrath. Some decent stuff there. I think all I really want to see is like Sorin and more Oath of Kayas, to be honest. And we didn't see any of those go down. Enter the God Eternals. Ouch. Alright, let's pay 4 to keep it in play. There's a Vraska's Contempt. Okay, so we take them to 6. Down to 3 with Oath of Kaya. So let's swing at their face. Pay the 4 life from whichever one they decide to block. If they don't block at all, they lose. Okay, pay the 4 there. Down to 6. Play Bellhaunt, make them discard. Hopefully we get something big. Dovin's Veto, that is big. Oof, they would have had the counter for the Oath then. They've got a hero. Do they have a follow-up to make tokens? Could very well. Well, there go all of our good spells. Ashiok has done some serious work. What's your last card? It's another Ashiok. Okay.
Welcome to my world of nightmares.
Alright.
Behold,
I think that goes the last of my
your
Sorins.
nightmares remain.
I want to hit a removal spell. We've got a Bellhaunt. Okay, so a greedy non-block here loses them the game. If they go to 3, they lose. So let's get swinging. If they don't triple block, they're done. 1 block. 2 block. And 3 block. Okay. So let's pay the 4. Pay the 4. Keep our creatures in play. We lose a Bellhorn, but they lose their precinct 1 and their token. 21 cards. Play a Bellhorn. Keep that pressure up. Keep our life total up as well. Mills us. There goes the font. 33 cards. Damn. And yep, they don't have the answer and they scoop it up. Alright, so we got some more pressure out there. I don't think we particularly saw any of our new cards that mattered, but I guess we got the Resplendent Angel out there, which needed answering, so more creatures for more pressure. Didn't have to rely on the Font of Agonies as much there, so, you know, it is what it is. Let's go for the next game. Alright, 3 lands, Revitalize, Font of Agonies on 1, Resplendent Angel hopefully on 3, we need another white for it, but Revitalize on 2 should hopefully help us with that. So let's get the font down. See what our opponent's got. Llanowar Elves. Would be nice to kill that, but we can't. Alright, so I'm just going to go Godless Shrine and shock it in for the 2 counters here. We've got the Revitalize to undo that damage. Hopefully my opponent doesn't follow up with something too grim. Gift of Paradise, not grim at all, really. They are ramping though, so I imagine this is maybe like a Super Friends list. Golgari, mid-range, Super Frenzy kind of thing. Let's get an Angel out and watch it probably die to 4-mana Vraska, something like that. Assassin's Trophy, that's real nice for us actually. We get to thin the deck. Alright. It doesn't particularly matter. I think more white for Resplendent Angel activations is probably what we want though. Jade Light Ranger, alright. Bond of Flourishing, this is a weird brew. Jeez. Alright, let's get the Angel down. I don't really fear the 4-3 at the moment. And Swamps are more scary than Plains, so let's get the scary one down first. Bond of Flourishing. If they don't find our answer to Resplendent Angel, then we're going to be able to make 4/4s and win the game, probably. Wildgrowth Walker and maybe an Explore creature? Yep. No Explore package is complete without always having Wildgrowth Walker available. And yep, we'll take the 4. We're going to be replacing our board with 4/4s. Adantov Vanguards, not too bad actually. Block the Branch Walker. We also have a kill on Wildgrowth Walker at any time as well, so that's quite nice. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to gain 5 life and make a 4/4 here. Gives us lots of fuel for the Font of Agonies when Vanguard eventually comes down. And now we've got 7 points of flying in the air to pressure our opponent. Vanguard to pay the 4 life so we can enable the Font of Agonies to just machine gun down their entire board. I'll take 4. Oh. Oh boy. Oh, that's game over. Right, so the reason why I want to run Sorin in my deck is for this. This exact reason right here. Minus, get Angel. Angels. Gain a lot of life. Also, let's do Oath of Kaya. Leave my Sorin alone. Kill Jade Light Ranger. Gain lots of life. End step. Make 2 4/4s. GG. This and this is a stupid combo and I love everything about it. My opponent will explode in 3, 2, 1. Oh, the all attack. That's a pre-death explosion right there. Alright. Yep, there it is. Alright, good stuff. Woo! Alrighty then, 3 lands. Adanto Vanguard, Bloodfast. We've got all of our pay life cards, but not our actual pay life payoff. But I'm going to take this hand. If we can get up to Sorin with a Adanto Vanguard in play, it's pretty decent. And looks like we have the potential, certainly. So let's get Adanto Vanguard down. So we can start swinging in with that. We'll get the Bloodfast down the turn after. And against a black deck. It's never just black. Mono black just doesn't exist at the moment, so it's going to be blue-black today. Still has potential to be Esper, and there goes all of our fun. Fun Erasure. Yay! God. That's a great card. Love it. Imagine they take Sorin here, unless they're the discard deck, and therefore they might want to take Bloodfast to kill my card advantage. Yeah, they're going to go with Sorin. Something that's harder to deal with. Isolated Chapel. Alright, well, let's play Bloodfast. I would have preferred a shock land there, so we could actually just fire it off, but it is what it is. Let's play down our Blast Zone. And swing for 3. This deck goes paired up against blue-black a lot. Something to keep in mind if you're playing in the unranked queues, that the matchmaker is picking something very specific, so you might be able to tech against the deck lists that it constantly pits you against when it's matchmaking. In this case, it seems to pit us up against Esper and blue-black a lot, or at least it does for me. So keeping that in mind and having cards in your deck that specifically tech against that particular matchup, something to keep in mind. Then again, if you change the structure of your deck, everybody knows that your matchups just immediately change to accompany the worst possible matchup for the cards you just changed. And it looks like it's Mill again. This deck really loves being pitted up against Mill. So I'm going to pay the 4 now, just to draw cards, see what we've got available to us. Another Bloodfast is a dead card. But with the final payment in our deck, we could sacrifice the spare one. Again, another use of final payment there. Font of Agonies into the bin. It's not going to see too much use in this matchup, though. Kaya's Wrath. Alright, so I'm going to have to use Vraska's Contempt, which upsets me because I guess I'm not actually going to have to do that. So what we can do is we can swing for 3. If our opponent blocks, I'll Oath of Kaya the wall to get rid of it. I want to keep Contempt for Ashiok, because Ashiok can do some serious work, and obviously it's the build-around card for this deck. So, yep. Hit ya. And kill ya. Isolated Chapel, and pass the turn with a Bloodfast activation. So what we want at this point in time is another creature. If our opponent removes the Adanto Vanguard by like Cry of the Carnarium or something like that, we're going to want a replacement effect. Ooh, Font of Agonies. That's useful. If they play a wall, we've basically countered it. Or at least we've got rid of the blocking aspect of it. So, yeah, I'm happy to do that. And because we got the Vanguard out, it doesn't actually mean that I have to shock in Godless Shrine here. I only really need 1 activation on the Font of Agonies here. So we'll use it whenever we need to. Bounce is my creature. Okay. So they know they can't kill it. So go to damage, replay, and yeah, tap lands. Plan on Bloodfast activation, I guess. Incidental little bits of value there. There's Ashiok. Alright. We knew that was coming, and so does our opponent, apparently. I'm gonna draw cards. We don't know what's on top, but go for it now before the activation. Because I bet that card's terrible. Let's see what my top deck is. It's not actually that bad, funnily enough. Alright, let's play a land. And, yep, we get to Contempt Ashiok. Pay for Spell Pierce easily.
Remember,
and we even get Resplendent Angel here. Doesn't die to Cry of the Carnarium, but if they have Tyrant Scorns and things like that, they can get rid of it. That needs answering. Opponent with nothing to do. They could have another Tyrant Scorn, and they're waiting for me to activate my Resplendent Angel. It's very much a possibility. I'm happy to run into that, though, I think. Then again, I'm hitting for 6. It's still a 2-turn clock. Activating doesn't actually change that. It just replaces with an additional creature that... Yeah. It still dies to, like, Ritual of Soot. Yeah. I'm gonna take the chance that they've got Tyrant Scorn bounce. They've got Cast Down. Alright, so that was another way that we were gonna waste our mana. And is it gonna be a Scorn bounce? It is not. Okay. Let's go Doom Whisperer. And that threatens lethal again. Unless they've got a creature counter here. Which they don't. Another Cast Down, though, could do it. Tyrant Scorn to bounce. Sure. So we're making the right calls on their cards in hand. Using these quite defensively is probably not what they had in mind. Well, I say defensively. Buying time with it, rather than actually killing creatures. There's a Thief of Sanity, which is automatically dead. So, let's just... yeah, we need the 2 mana there, so I'm just going to pay the 4 here. To pay the 2 now. It's more mana efficient, we get to untap with all of our mana this way. But we pay more life than we should. So, get swinging. Down to 5, and Resplendent Angel's lethal on its own. Could also go with the Doom Whisperer as well, just to lock it up. I think I will. There is no board wipe that takes care of this in their colours, and yep, they scoop it up. Good stuff. Alright, well, I think that is gonna do it for today's episode. I kind of like our changes. Our win rate actually increased after the changes. Whether that was due to them for you guys to decide, I suppose. But I really do like the Resplendent Angel and Soaring combo. Honestly, I wouldn't really part these at any time until rotation. Of course, this is going to be a card that rotates, so use your wild cards sparingly, but Arena Modern will come around, and I imagine Sorin and Resplendent Angel's probably still on the same power level in that format as it is in Standard right now, so... You know, this is definitely a combo that I'll be returning to post-rotation anyway. But yeah, I kind of like the changes. Final Payment seemed pretty good there. I think on the matchups where we weren't just instantly going to lose, it was actually going to be doing some decent value. All of our creatures are now, for the most part, able to be reanimated with Sorin with quite a little bit of ease. We didn't really try out the lifelink enchantment on the Vanguard, but I imagine it'd be good. If you don't have any of these cards, then you could probably swap those out for a Squire's Devotion or something like that. Alternatively, we do have Seraph and Knight of the Malice as well, which is a decent creature in this deck. I think focusing less on going all in on Font of Agonies was definitely something that helped us here. So Font was nice to have, but it wasn't required when we actually started playing our games. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this particular list. If you have any changes that you would make, or if you have a Font of Agonies list yourself, then discuss it down below. I always do love when the community gets involved with subscriber decks as well, because it helps out the community. You know, we all work on the same deck, so leave what you would add in the deck down below. But other than that, guys, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you do enjoy content like this and you want to see more of it in the future. Also, you can hit that bell icon as well, and that will give you notifications when my videos go live. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.